Hey guys, what's up? It's Dave. It's the end of April, and you know what that means. It's time to start mowing the lawn. So I've taken my Cub Cadet 2100 GTX out of hibernation. Worked fantastic for me all last year. But before I put it to work this year, I want to change the oil, I want to clean out the air filters, and I want to sharpen and balance the 3 blades underneath the 54-inch deck. So let's just get started. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing up in the air enough for me to get the blades off. Alright, let me see if I can sneak under here and just get these blades off. Like so. Alright, so these things are all in about the same condition. Pretty poor, kind of beat up. Dinged and dented. Not too bad, I guess. Certainly not sharp. You're not going to cut yourself on that. So, I mean, I'm not going to go too crazy on this. I am just going to clean up this beveled edge and get a nice sharp lead edge on that again. And that's all I need to do, I think. I mean, these things are not going into a jet engine. It's just a lawnmower. So anything is better than that. So let's see if we can improve on that. Alright, here's the bottom side of the blade. I think I'm just going to kind of clean the bottom side of it up before I put an edge on the beveled side. I'm just going to run this a few times across it and clean it up. I'm just trying to keep this flat for the most part, but I just want to clean up the bottom side before I go ahead and clean up the beveled blade side. There we go. Now I'll flip it over. And now I'll clean up this beveled side. Clean off the burr. Yeah, that feels good. I like that. That looks good to me. Alright, here's just a little comparison of the before and after. That's the blade I just cleaned up there. Looks nice and sharp. The blade I haven't touched yet. That's good enough for me. Alright, so I got them sharp the way I want them. Again, I've got 3 of these things. They're going underneath a 54-inch fabricated deck. So there's 3 spindles in there. And I think if these are precisely balanced, everything will just run a lot smoother and last a lot longer. So I went and picked up one of these blade balancing gizmos. And we're going to see how far off these things are. Alright, so this side obviously is a little bit heavier. So I'm going to grind off some material on this side. I've got my sharp edge the way I want it, so I'm just going to grind some material off the end here. Come back and see how I'm doing, a little bit at a time, until I get this thing to stay nice and level. Alright, grind it off just a little bit because I have no idea how much it's going to take to get this thing into balance. Okay, I need to take more. I'm just grinding off the end here. Alright, that's getting better. I'll take a little bit more off on this side. I like to get it to kind of stay like that. A little more grinding on this side. Yeah, maybe just a smidge more. Yep. And that looks good. All right, that looks good to me. Perfect. 1 down, 2 to go. Alright, now I'm going to sock down these blades back on it. I've got a couple of jack stands because I'm probably going to be spending a little bit of time underneath here. I don't want anything falling down on me. And 3. Alright, let's get this thing back on the ground. Carefully without dropping it. Alright. Alright, 3 sharpened and balanced blades underneath. Got that checked off the list. Alright, got the blades all taken care of. Let's clean this air filter real quick. I'm going to blow this out with some compressed air. and just blow off the engine a little bit. And then we'll put the air cleaner back on. Here we go. Alright, next thing I want to do is drain the oil, and this mower's got an oil hose like this. Comes right out of the bottom of the motor. And here is the drain plug. I'll clean it up a little bit. So we got a 7/16 wrench to hold one, and then, or I'm sorry, 3/4 inch for the big one to hold it in place, and the 7/16 we can loosen this oil plug, hopefully. Okay. Got an oil pan down the bottom here. I want to keep it off of the belts, the drive belts. And so it is now draining out into the oil pan. So we'll let that drain out. Get a quick peek at this. Been in there about 100 hours. It's full synthetic. Still got some good color to it, but I'm going to drain it. Put some fresh fluid in it for the start of the year. So let's let that drain out a little bit. And I'm going to pull off the oil filter at this point. Clean off this face of the oil filter. Okay, that drained out all that's going to drain out. I'll put the cap back in. Crank it tight, and then the hose just kind of goes back like so. It was rather easy. And again, a wipe off of this surface where the oil filter goes. Spin on a new filter. Tighten that on, 3/4 of a turn or so after contact. It's your typical oil filter. Okay. Now we're going to add some fresh 10W30 full synthetic. Okay, and the book shows a little under 2 quarts. So I've got 2 quarts. I'll put 1.5 in, check the level. Okay, and this is what I'm using. Full synthetic 10W30 STP. And we'll start with 1 quart. And then I'll put in about a half a quart. And then we'll start the engine real quick to fill the oil filter. And then we'll check the dipstick and top off until good. So let me just start that for a second. Alright, that's perfect. That is right on the mark. you can see that. Trust me. It's right on the mark. And then one last thing I want to check is the hydrostatic transmission fluid. Spotlessly clean. I changed that last year. It's still clear. Looks beautiful. Okay, I think I'm good to go now. That concludes the little pre-season tune-up consisting of an oil change and filter, cleaning out the air filter, sharpening and balancing all 3 blades underneath the deck, check the level in the hydrostatic transmission fluid. Everything looks good. Everything on this thing works great. Had no problems with it all last year, and I hope to have no problems with it this year. So there we are.